Most guys do not last very long during sex. The worldwide statistic is that a man lasts about 5.5 minutes during sex before ejaculating. The good news is that even if you've had premature ejaculation for years and years, you can overcome this. Hey guys, I'm Jonathan White. I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can manifest your ideal life. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay notified when I release new videos and go live. Make sure you get my free ejaculation control course through the link in the video description below. So in this video, I'm going to explain one of the main causes of premature ejaculation, how you can overcome this. For many, many years, I've been practicing sexual kung fu. I've been studying, the male anatomy, learning what causes dysfunction, sexual dysfunction for men and how to overcome this, right? And from working with hundreds and thousands of men from around the world, I've come to the conclusion that the number one cause of premature ejaculation is this hypertension response in the pelvic floor, which manifests as something called an involuntary Kegel. So a Kegel is basically where you squeeze the pelvic floor muscles. Like if you have to urinate, but you're holding it in, you use those pelvic floor muscles to hold it in, right? So squeezing those muscles is a Kegel. Now, for a lot of men, they have this involuntary response to where the penis is stimulated, even if they simply feel aroused. These muscles are involuntarily squeezing, right? They're contracting in response to penis stimulation and to arousal. So first of all, the reason that this is a problem is that when you look at ejaculation, it's basically a tension response in the body. Ejaculation is a function of your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. And so basically how it works is during sex, as you become aroused, you start to feel more and more arousal. This builds more and more tension in the pelvic floor area, right? The nerves of the pelvic floor and the muscles, they start to contract, and eventually you hit a maximum point of tension. When that happens, you ejaculate, right? So a big part of ejaculation control is releasing this tension from the body. Check out my ejaculation control video to learn more about that. We live in a very overstimulated world. Most guys have a lot on their minds. They're very busy, they're stressed out, and this causes them to accumulate tension in the body unconsciously. Your mind and your body are in a state of tension, especially the pelvic floor area for men tends to be very, very tense. So you're already in this sympathetic fight or flight state. And so of course, when you start to have sex, you don't have much more room to hold any more tension basically. So you ejaculate very quickly. This is a very basic understanding of one of the main causes of premature ejaculation. So to overcome this pattern, you must learn to retrain your mind and your body to get out of this unconscious, involuntary squeezing of the pelvic floor that happens. And you can notice this, experiment next time you're having sex or you're having self-pleasure, whatever. Keep your pelvic floor as relaxed as you can as you stimulate, and then notice what happens when you squeeze those pelvic floor muscles. You very likely feel more sensation, more sensitivity, and also you climb up the arousal scale closer to ejaculation much more quickly. Now you understand how squeezing the pelvic floor during sex makes you more sensitive to sensation, stimulation, and also makes you climb the arousal scale and get closer to ejaculation much quicker. So the reason why this is such a problem for so many men, besides there being so much stress and tension in their minds and bodies constantly anyways, is that many of us have trained ourselves to have this response. As I'm looking at this pattern now, I realize that my tendency for many, many years was to do this during masturbation or during sex. As a teenager, when I was, watching porn and masturbating, I would squeeze my pelvic floor muscles because it felt a lot better, right? I could get to these higher levels of pleasure very quickly, but it also made me ejaculate very quickly. So you do this over and over and over, and you're basically programming your system to have this response. Sexual stimulation equals squeeze the pelvic floor and come to ejaculation very quickly. And I think that's one of the reasons why many men have this habit, is because yes, it feels better and it brings you to that point of ejaculation quicker. We have this instant gratification approach to things. We want more and we want it right now, right? When it comes to sex, this is not sustainable. More right now equals less later. So to have a more sustainable experience of sex and orgasm and sexual endurance, it's really, really important to learn to let go of this habit of contraction, of tension in the mind and the body. And now that brings us into the more practical area of this video, which is how to release this pattern, how to overcome this pattern of hypertension in the pelvic floor. Hypertension being it's very difficult for you to relax, right? So notice right now, does your pelvic floor feel relaxed? Are you tensing your pelvic floor muscles? When I started noticing this, I realized that I was squeezing my pelvic floor muscles with at least some degree of tension nearly 24/7. So that's the first step, is have the awareness of it. Now, to overcome this, there's many approaches, there's many things that I'm going to recommend to you. Number one is going to be to start doing reverse Kegels. A reverse Kegel is basically like a pushing out motion in the pelvic floor. As a Kegel is a squeezing, a reverse Kegel is a pushing out. Check out my most recent video on Kegels to learn exactly how to do reverse Kegels. muscles. Something else that helps to release this deep tension that's often held in the pelvic floor is to do some deep squats. Now, I'm not talking about weighted squats. These are very beneficial for many reasons, but specifically a more of a stretching action with a squat. So basically imagine that you were going to take a poop by squatting on the ground. And so get into the sort of position you would do to do that. And that's going to really open up your pelvic floor muscles. And you'll notice that it's much easier to relax those pelvic floor muscles in that squatting position. So hold that for 30 seconds to a minute, a couple minutes a day, whatever, and that will really help release those patterns. And when you're holding that squat, breathe deeply and notice how when you inhale into the belly, it stretches and expands the pelvic floor muscles. Another thing that's very helpful for releasing these patterns is a massage. There's many ways to do this. You can simply massage the pelvic floor with your fingers. You can also do something I like to do often, which is take a tennis ball, place it under the perineum, so the pelvic floor, in the soft area between the genitals and the anus, and sit on it for a few minutes. You'll get a really good kind of acupressure massage in that area. It's good for your prostate as well, and that will help to release some of these really tight tissues, muscles, and tendons in that area and release some of those hypertension patterns. You can do that for just a few minutes a day with immense benefit. And then also practice simply relaxing your pelvic floor muscles as much as you can. I recommend starting this by laying on the ground and just progressively relaxing your body. As you exhale, release more and more tension. Really focus on the pelvic floor area. I've personally noticed that when I'm in a very kind of overly stimulated state, like my mind's very tense, I've been very busy, stressed out, whatever. I notice that when I'm in this state, my pelvic floor muscles are very, very tight. So an easy way for me to get out of this state is to do this exercise where I'm laying on the ground, breathing into my belly, and as I exhale, relax the pelvic floor muscles as much as I can. And you may be surprised at how difficult it is to release this tension when you first begin this, but over several minutes, you will start to release more and more tension until eventually your pelvic floor muscles will feel very, very relaxed. So if pelvic floor hypertension is really a problem for you, then do this every single day, and you will start to notice a significant difference, not just in your sexual performance, but in your overall feelings of relaxation. And then finally, the next time you have sex or you self-pleasure, focus on keeping your pelvic floor muscles relaxed. And you may find that this is difficult in the beginning, but focus on breathing deeply and relaxing your entire body, especially the pelvic floor muscles. And this will help you avoid that hypertension response of contracting in response to sexual stimulation. And this will start to get you on the path to overcoming, patterns of premature ejaculation. Thank you for watching this video. I guarantee if you take what I've said into account, you practice the exercises I've recommended, you will over time with consistent practice start to see some significant changes and development in your pelvic floor relaxation and start to have much more sexual endurance. If you want to master your sexual performance, learn to have non-ejaculatory orgasms, have total control over your ejaculation so you can have sex for hours, check out my 12-week course, Multi-Orgasmic Man. I'll put more information in the description of this video. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment below. Have a great day, my friends.